Day 1 of James's standardized assessments finds us in the room that my students have nicknamed the testing closet. In its close confines, I can smell that James hasn't bathed in at least 4 days, and I can see the distinctly unmedicated darting of his eyes. I am not expected to include any of this in the report that I will write for James's last education plan. For that, I am to focus on how James responds to writing prompts, like the one with the picture of the boy with 2 robots. Students are to compare the robots using the word however. No one ever uses however correctly. When he sees the picture, James asked me, "Mr. August, can we, name them and shit?" I am tempted to include this in the report, as well as a description of the discordant symphony created by James's rumbling stomach and muttering mouth, because nobody at the shelter where he's been staying is required to feed him or administer his schizophrenia meds. When I ask him if he needs to stop, he says, "Nah, I think I got this." I don't know how to teach the mechanical resolve that compels a barely literate young man to spend hours in a tiny-ass room just days after writing sentences, just days after the cops pulled him from his new foster home because something in the stability there must have flared up those old episodes and he's been stealing shit again. Been pissing on floors and mattresses again. Day 2 finds me without James. Day 3 finds James just 12 hours after being released from the hospital because the guys at the shelter don't see the unmedicated schizophrenic. They don't see the 21-year-old high school student who won't even get a diploma. They just see the motherfucker who stole their shoes. And from across the testing closet table, I can distinctly make out the 3-inch unstitched gash in James's scalp from where they dragged him into the street by a fistful of his tracks. It is gaping like the most cynical of mouths, issuing a reminder that black and retarded are the only 2 strikes you need to be out in this world that I am supposed to be preparing him for. But I won't include any of that in the report either. But I will write that James has given the only response to the robot prompt in 7 years that has made me cry. He wrote, "The boy has 2 robots. However, he loves them both." Who taught James love? Not the birth mother who could never choose the miracle in her stomach or the boy in her arms over the hell she let march through her veins until her death. And if I'm being honest, it wasn't me either. Because despite the close confines he occupies in my heart, the rest of me is bound to a system that just wants a report, and I will write it with a prayer. Because sometimes a prayer is the closest thing a teacher has to control. I will write it desperate to believe that something in my time with James has built a shield for him. That for all of my students I am balm to bruised skin, a lullaby. Sung inside beaten hearts, I will write it. Stealing James's own line, it will read, "In 7 years, I have taught over 100 students. However, I love them all."